It's a tough job market out there. Employers tell me that they're having a hard time finding the ideal candidates, and the candidates are telling me they're being overlooked. Such an interesting dilemma, isn't it? A lot of unemployment, yet not a lot of jobs for the right fit. What makes a right fit for your company? We're going to explore some of those questions, and I'll share some key concepts and some takeaways for you to take into the job market. So if you're an employer, you're probably getting hundreds of resumes. And as a candidate, you're submitting your resume to 100 places. And what happens, well, they're scanning them and they're looking for some keywords typically, and they're looking for some key skills, and they're wanting to know if you fit their value system or what level of experience you have, or oftentimes it's even level of education. Employers, I know that you're trying to find the ideal candidate for the position that you're hiring for. And oftentimes we're hiring for a lot of things. We're looking for talent and experience and knowledge and skills and personality. Unfortunately, we're trying to check so many boxes that there isn't one person who fits all those boxes. And candidates can easily get discouraged because they're going through rounds and rounds of interviews. I came across when I was reading a book by Patrick Lencioni called The Ideal Team Player. This company identifies the top 3 things that matter most to them about the employees that are going to work in their company. They're looking for people who are hungry, who are humble, and who are smart. But then they got really specific on defining those things. And they identified what humble looks like, what hungry looks like, and what smart looks like. And they're not necessarily what you think they would be. I really like this concept because I think it makes things easier for the candidates and for the company. When the company is clear on what they want, the right candidates will submit the applications. You have to identify what you want, both as an employer and a candidate. What are you looking for in a company as a candidate? And what values are you looking for in their culture? And then what skills do you have that represent those values? As an employer, you're really wanting to be clear about, well, what are you looking for in your employees? How do you want them to contribute? And is it necessary that they have a certain degree or experience? If so, yes, put it in there. But oftentimes we're placing experience in just to make sure we can weed out some folks that might not qualify because they haven't had that level of education. There's a lot of people applying for a lot of jobs. So you're always going to get some resumes in that just don't fit the job. But be careful to not just throw them out. The ideal candidate for you really might be hidden in there, especially if you're doing some technological screening that's weeding some of the people out that don't have some of the keywords. So I do encourage you to have a human involved in the initial screening of your applications. So job seekers, if you've identified that this is a good job match for you, then yes, complete the application and send a great cover letter with it that describes the value you could bring to this organization based on the experience and knowledge you have. Now, employers, I get it, you're looking for a certain level of experience, but I want to introduce to you something that I just learned about, and that is called STARS. Did you know that over 50% of the population is considered a STAR? STAR stands for Skilled Through Alternative Routes. These are people who do not have a bachelor's degree. And so if you're requiring a certain level of education and somebody doesn't have that, you're automatically weeding out 50% of the population. I certainly don't want a doctor doing surgery on me who hasn't been educated as a doctor, right? So we know there are certain positions that, yes, we have to have that education. But if you can teach somebody the skills and they've got the right values and they believe in your mission and they're passionate about what you do, wouldn't that make for a great ideal team player? That's the kind of people I want to be working with when I'm a team member. I want people who are committed to the mission. I want people that are going to have fun doing the work together. And so I encourage you to just be open about what you're really asking for in the position descriptions. And be really clear on the 1 to 3 things that are absolutely necessary, and then be open to finding qualified candidates in other areas. So as the job market evolves, it may seem tougher to find your ideal candidate and candidates for you to find the ideal job. But I encourage you to not give up, because there's a role out there for you and there's a company, and if you're the company, you need some of these people that you're overlooking right now. I think the most important part in all of this is to keep learning and growing. As an employer, do you reflect on what you've done to hire past candidates and reflect on those candidates that have been successful in your environment? And what have you learned about their level of success in your environment? And why is it that they're engaged? What can you learn from those that you've hired in the past who have been successful and maybe those who have fallen off the radar? Take that and learn about how you can implement some new questions and just be open to what you might look for differently in the future interviews. And for the job seekers, continue to search and talk to these employers. Ask questions. Make sure you're prepared for the interview where you can really find out about what this company is looking for and share with them how you're really going to bring value. Really just tap into who you are. The bottom line is, as a job seeker, as an employee, you need to be aligned with what the company's mission and vision is. And if that doesn't feel right to you, it's not the right place for you to be. So start there and then match your skills to that mission and that vision and let them know that you're passionate and you want to bring your best. Because for both of you, whether you're a job seeker or you're an employer, it's all about growing in your ability to find the right job for yourself and to find the right candidate for your company.